regardless of the round, has ever come back and won a series after being down 3-0. So this is obviously a must-win game tonight. Hell, I said game 2 was a must-win for the Spurs, as there was no way they were beating this Knicks team 4 out of 5. And the Spurs will need to play their best to win tonight. Problem is, their best does not beat New York's best, and we haven't even seen New York's best, and they're still up 2-0. I'm Jim Rome.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com. 1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
Hey, listen, there's a phone call for you.
Is this the callback for that porno film? Look, I was a little nervous that day, but I'm all man, I can assure you.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily.
I like where this is going. Giggity, giggity, giggity.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Happy Tuesday to you on Sports Daily. Jacob Albrock, TJ Cleveland with you, ready to rock and roll and dig into a subject that is, it has got the world buzzing right now as Brendan Sorsby is basically allowed to play. We'll dig into that. The NBA Finals Game 3 last night. The Spurs saved the season. Keep things spicy there. Another tight game. These games have all been really good. We have that to get into. The Royals back in action. A couple of injuries we're watching. The Chiefs bring back a familiar face as they get ready to start mandatory minicamp this week. So lots of good stuff for you today. And it's all what's on tap. Brought to you by the Wichita Brewing Company, now featuring a brand new summer cocktail menu. Set sail with a salty doggy or bearded clam, or escape with a Waikiki wake up or a string bikini Bellini. WBC Summer Cocktails, because summer sips better at Wichita Brewing Company. I'm Jacob Albrock. He's TJ Cleveland. Max Powers producing for us. We have your video streams available, of course, on 12 News Connected, as well as Facebook, YouTube, X. You can comment there. I assume people will have some thoughts on this Brendan Sorsby thing that we'll get into. You can also give us your thoughts over the air at 869-1240, the KFH hotline. If you're listening to us, 97.5, 1240 AM, you can email the show at sportsdaily@kfhradio.com. And if you're on the Odyssey app, you can leave us voice messages. TJ, good morning. How are you?
Jacob, I think I said yesterday on the show that the Royals, excuse me, oh my goodness, the Royals have to be good because the Sorsby situation is running out of juice for us to talk about because that's what we only talked about for the last 2 weeks. Because yesterday at 8:30 a.m., I thought, yeah, it's over. He's not going to play anymore. And I'm so upset about it. I'm losing my voice on the air for some reason. But here we are, and we're going to talk about this for another month.
Yeah, this has taken a turn that it's taken such a crazy turn that this could be the thing, and I think we both agree on this. This could be the thing that forces change. Like, we're talking about now a fifth-year senior on his third team who will be quarterbacking a team people think will be a national championship contender while admitting to betting on his own sport and not being able to be punished for it. I mean, like the optics of it are almost silly. You're like, wait, what? Like there is a universal cardinal rule in all of sports. And there's very good reason that it is sort of the cardinal rule in all of sports. And that is betting on sports while you're playing the sport. The integrity of it, you hear all the time, has to be protected. And it does. It has to be protected. How could you ever Think about it. And I get it. Like, we turn a blind eye in sports to things that are far worse than betting on sports, right? We turn a blind eye to athletes doing things that are far worse than making wagers on sports all the time. We do it every day. That's not the same issue. It's an issue, but it's not the same issue as this because you don't know if what you're watching is real or not. When you have somebody who has an admitted gambling problem, what are we, a few weeks out of rehab for a dude that made tens of thousands of bets? Oh, yeah, he's fine. Oh, boy, that was kind of sailed that one. Huh. That was weird. Wonder why he did that. Like it's really simple why this is the rule you can't break. It's really simple why this is the lifetime ban type of rule. It's elementary.
Mhm.
And now you've got this situation. It's funny. Like, again, we see coaches and players like do far more heinous things. And it's like, whatever, man. Like, we're not going to worry too much about that, second chances. But this one, the universal condemnation, I don't think I've ever seen anything like it in sports.
I agree. I mean, it's the golden rule. Like, I'm watching SportsCenter yesterday. I heard the most true statement of my life, and my parents probably laugh at me for this thing, but I'll tell you story time here in the opening segment. When I was in third grade, I think I had a teacher, really, I was into baseball, but he like baseball history, everything like that. One day I came home from sitting at dinner around the kitchen table, and I looked at my parents and said, "Guys, have you ever heard of Pete Rose?" And they thought it's their favorite story of all time. But yesterday, watching SportsCenter, the reporter on the situation, whoever it was, and he said, "You don't even have to be alive at that time. You don't even have to like baseball, and you know what Pete Rose did, because that's the golden rule that you can't break, is what Pete Rose did." And we've seen it, this past year, like the scandals and the rigging of games, and there's always been some weird stuff and things like that, but it's always been so taboo. And now, I mean, this feels like it will be a breaking point in a country where you can literally download an app and bet $1,000 in about 30 seconds. Is how easy it is. Yes, the citizens can. I'm saying that's how easy for everybody it is to do it, and how accessible it is for athletes to go do this, because there's just you can do it. It's that easy until you get caught, and then it's absolutely you can't. And there's a reason why you can't, and we're going to get into all of it, because Jacob, I feel like we're living in the twilight zone, because there's people out there. I'm sure a lot of them reside in Lubbock County, but there's a lot of people out there that are like, yeah, but he bet on his team and he wasn't playing in the games. Like, no, you can't. You literally can't do that. You
can't.
The number one rule in sports.
That's it. And again, is it the worst crime that's committed in sports? It isn't.
Nope.
Doesn't matter. It's the one that challenges the thing that you must protect at all cost. We know teams do things and cheat, and we make excuses for them all the time. Like, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. If you're not rubbing, you're not racing. Like, if you're not bending the rules, like all of this, we make all these things. This one is the one where it's like, yeah, you can't do that, because you can't ever watch it and wonder, I wonder if that was the true outcome here, because then all the time and money that get invested in it, now it's like, well, no, I'm not going to like that. What I'm seeing isn't even real. Like, that's the reason. And is it an overreaction? I don't think it is. And we're to the point where a 22-year-old, fifth-year senior on his third team in college football, who was caught and then admitted to making close to $100,000 in bets on his own team while he was playing, wins a court case and now is going to go get under center. It's just like, we talk about how you get the pendulum swings on this stuff, and it was so jacked up. And I blame the NCAA, by the way, for all of this. But you get like, okay, now you don't have the silliness that was trying to govern NCAA, and it swings back the other way. And we're getting to this point, former pro athletes coming back to college, guys in their 7th year of college football, like to go from where it was to where you're just like, okay, where's the end of that part of the pendulum where it can start kind of swinging back to normalcy? I don't know. Guy betting on his own team being allowed to play is not something I saw coming with all of this.
This looks like I've seen a lot of people talking about the timeline of events from where we've gone to. Yeah, there was a West Virginia judge who thinks that player should be allowed to transfer. And now there's a Lubbock judge who's saying that the quarterback should be able to play even though he bet on his team. Like we've swung pretty far here.
We'll get you all the details of it, the ramifications of it next. So stick around on Sports Daily. Your thoughts welcome. We're coming right back.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
The canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message, so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
310-1 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you
and inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Longhopper Lawn and Tree Care celebrating 60 years in Wichita, providing expert lawn care for a healthy lawn, tree and shrub care, and bedweed control since 1966. Longhopper Lawn and Tree Care. You know the crazy part about this, TJ? Like, Brendan Sorsby's kind of good, I guess. Had a good year last year. I mean, what are we doing here? He was just kind of the best available more than he's this transcendent talent we should be bending over backwards for. Like, what are we doing this for? Like, what do we, like, at some point, Texas Tech, just be like, nah, we're good. Now I don't know if they can, though, TJ. And that's another problem.
There's a
in
point.
all of this.
Well, this is a conversation for probably later in the show. We got bigger fish to fry in the meantime. But is there something to be said here about he's getting paid, and that's why it's a bigger deal? And it's probably obviously that. I think looking back down the road at Iowa State, when this all happened to them, I think that they just washed their hands and they're like, well, that sucks. We had a good quarterback and we lost him. Texas Tech now has to come with the terms of saying, man, we've got a good quarterback and we might lose him. And also we paid him $6 million and he might not play a game. And I think that that's why they're like, well, he's got to play. He's got to.
And also, we don't really have a backup quarterback, and we have all these expectations to maybe win a national championship, and like all the things are there for them.
All right. So can we let's dig into the timeline here. I think that this is relevant context for anybody that may have just woken up from under a rock or listens to pop music in the morning instead of Sports Daily, since we talked about this at length. Brendan Sorsby, Cincinnati quarterback. Was top player in the portal. I believe he ended up being the top player in the portal. Transferred to Texas Tech. Lofty $5 million contract, I believe. 5.9 or something is the number. In that range. You get it. He's a millionaire now. Went to Texas Tech. Then about a month ago, he comes out and I believe released a statement first and said, I've got a gambling problem. I've bet on some things and I've got a gambling problem and I got to stop. And everybody's like, okay, well, I hope he gets the help he needs. But why is he saying that? I wonder what it was about. And then somebody was like, well, yeah, he just bet a lot on he would go to Reds games and live bet on balls and strikes and a couple dollars at a time. And, a lot of people are like, okay, yeah, get the help you need. If you don't want to be wasting your money while you're doing that, if you want to stop, then you need to stop, blah, 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 blah. Then the next day it comes out and it's like, oh, and he also bet on about 40 games or 40 something bets or whatever while he played on the Indiana football team as a backup. He said it was because he didn't play and he wanted to feel connected to his teammates in some way while he sat the bench. Obviously, NCAA rules forever have said that you can't bet on game. The rules used to say you can't bet, period, as an NCAA athlete. They have since moved, which this is something, Jacob. They have since moved that you can bet on professional sports. You can't bet on college sports in any capacity, I believe, even if it's not your team. I don't think that him as a Texas Tech quarterback could bet on KUK State either. I believe you can only bet on the NFL and other sports. I don't think you bet on college basketball either, if I'm not mistaken on that.
I think that's right.
Yeah, that's the rule that they moved it to. So it's not a red flag that he had a DraftKings account like it used to have been 10 years ago, but then it came out that was happening. And now we've seen the legal things going on, and he's not going to be able to play, and that's going to happen. And the NCAA is taking all this away. And then they have a case a week ago, I believe it was a week ago, and the NCAA said, no, he can't play. Like, I don't care what case you give us, he's not going to play. And then all hail the judge in Lubbock County, Texas, because yesterday it's the story we've seen 100 times now. A local judge grants an injunction requested by Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby. He's set to be eligible for the 2026 season. He can't play in their first 2 games, so they're going to have to find a way to get it done against Abilene Christian and Oregon State without him. But then he'll be legal to play the rest of the season. As it currently stands, he has a follow-up case in February, I believe, but the national championship ends in January. So feel free to play the whole year. We'll do this case later, and we'll figure it out after that. And that's where we are. Another local judge overrides a federal rule, and nobody can do anything about it, it feels like.
So, well, somebody can do something about it, kind of. Congress can. I don't, but not completely. So here's the other challenge, and I don't want, this will be hard not to jump around on a lot today. I read yesterday, I don't remember if it was a legal analyst, if it was an attorney, I don't remember who it was, but apparently the issue now is like this court case and 1 or 2 others. These aren't like the antitrust lawsuits, which are also a problem, right? That's also a big problem the NCAA and these institutions face. This isn't that. This is apparently state law that has to do with like something to do with contracts and whatever. That's a totally different animal than what we've dealt with in the legal challenges of the NCAA in the past. So I don't know if that would be included in the legislation that's currently on the table being sort of worked through. I have no idea, but it's just another problem. And it honestly, it makes you get to the point on this where I think a lot of us have been from the beginning. Can you just collectively bargain this stuff out, please? Like, can we just get this done that way? I don't know that there's another choice. I find it hard to believe now that if you did that and you put in your salary caps, put them in as they currently stand, collectively bargain it, like, what's the alternative, universities? Like the people that would oppose that? This is the alternative. Like, your model is so jacked that it can never work. And that's where I say, like, the blame for all of this to me goes to the rule makers and the power players of college athletics for the decades and decades leading up to the last 5 or 6 years. You can't take advantage of and screw over athletes forever, make all this money, and then just expect things to just smoothly be like, okay, we'll do that a little less now. Like, it was, I don't even know how possible it was. And for whatever reason, I don't know if local or whatever, like, yeah, man, that doesn't seem right. This one, even when it's so egregious that literally everybody, for the people at Texas Tech willing to sell it all to win, are like, you can't do this. And it's still like, yeah, I guess he can. So I don't know if in the end of all of this, we get to the point where what can be done. Well, maybe we get to the place that the forbidden words of college athletics, collectively bargain, players union, all that kind of stuff. Maybe that's where we get with all this, because until you get to the point where you bring players to the table, I don't know if you can just make up arbitrary rules and you don't have anybody that can enforce them, because why would players don't have to follow those rules. Clearly, they don't have to follow the rules.
It's the same thing. We talked about this in basketball season for a month. It's the same argument. It's immediately what everybody goes to and says, well, if you're the NCAA, just don't, like, he can play, but the games don't count. The NCAA governs the college football playoff. That's what we said about March Madness when Bediako was at Alabama. And they said, if you've got, the stones to do it, NCAA, tell him if he plays, those wins don't count. We'll count them as losses because we make the rules on that thing. The NCAA makes the rules on the college football playoff. So what's the point of having a quarterback play if the games don't matter? So the NCAA has to find a way to enforce something. At the end of the day, like, I get it. Like, sue till you can't sue anymore about going to public universities and partaking in sports governed by government entities in the NCAA, basically. Like, I get it. I get why you are suing to do that. But at the end of the day, sports have rules that you have to follow for the integrity of the sport. And they have to figure out a way to get to that point. And I don't know why they can't. And it's the same thing we've talked about, and we're wasting our breath on it until
it's not wasting our breath, because this is a new wrinkle, and the blowback on it is so universal. It is different. It's very different when you have conferences and universities already out there saying, all right, memo, we can't play Texas Tech.
Yeah,
now there's a part of that that's like throwing the bird to Texas Tech. There's also a part of it that is to what you just talked about. What if that game doesn't count? Like, we're not going to go through all that. Like, nope, we're just not going to play them. And you have that control. It's interesting that the universal condemnation comes on this, right? And not some of the other things that we've seen happen.
That's
in
what.
sports.
So this to that point. This is what I want to say on that, which is I was going to bring up earlier in the show. Is this one is so interesting because, throw out an example of, James Najee, the Baylor player that got drafted in the NBA draft, and Charles Bediako, who declared for the draft and left and came back, and the G League players that are playing college basketball, and the 26-year-old European guys that are now freshmen in college basketball somehow. Like, all of those things, everybody looks at them and you're like, well, that doesn't seem right. Like, you can't do that. Like, that's not in the rules. But they make a case, and I'm not gonna lie, like, it's a compelling case. Like, the European guys play pro basketball and they come over here. How come I can't play pro basketball and then come over here and play? And as much as it sucks, it's like, well, that's probably a good point. We should probably get it all in check, is where the NCAA needs to be on all of that things. But you sit there and you look at those as us, Joe Lunchbox, all the Joe Lunchboxes out there, can see a little bit of it. You don't like it, but you can see there's a good point if you're a rational human being. The transfer rules, like, they suck. You don't like them, but I guess I get it. The free market of paying players, like, that sucks that they're all millionaires, but I guess I can't do anything about it, and that's just where we're going, so I guess I have to like it for the time being. This one, though, you see a player bet that much money on games, the universal thinking across everybody except Lubbock, Texas, is he can't play. What are you talking about? Like, that's how this one blows my mind so much, and to the point of the coaches and the athletic directors, more than coaches, athletic directors, saying we aren't playing them. This is the most, I texted you last night. This feels like it's the one that could get a ball rolling in the right direction to somewhere, because if it feels like at this point, you're right, it's flipping the bird to Texas Tech a little bit, and it's a little bit of protecting themselves in case the NCAA forfeits games, but it's also a point of, if you're not going to do anything, NCAA, we'll fix the damn sport ourselves. We're not going to play them.
The NCAA can't do anything. There's nothing they can do. They just got hammered. So it's not the NCAA now.
No, I guess college football as a whole, if we can't find a way to fix it, we're just not going to play.
They're trying to put the pressure so much on Texas Tech that Texas Tech's like, all right, he can't play. But now Texas Tech has $6 million on the line. And if you say that, I guess you'd still owe him the money because the judge says he can play. And that's where Tech's now going to be between a rock and a hard place. They never should have appealed this. They never should have, given us the clutching pearls. We're going to stand behind this player. Great. You want to stand behind him? Say he's a good kid. He's going to rehab, but he can't play football here anymore. Like, you had the case. Would they still owe him? Would he have been able to still sue them? Was that the threat made? I don't know. But Tech's in a hard place now too. Cody Campbell, who's trying to troll Georgia, in the beginning seemed very disappointed in this. Cody Campbell is the now famous donor to Texas Tech, which is why they're in play on so many of these athletes now. But initially, his statement on all of this wasn't necessarily. I mean, it wasn't like he was, and I guess he's put out an op-ed that I'll read at some point here in one of the commercial breaks. But, I just don't know where we get with all of this. You've got leagues that won't take the legislation that'll help because they're worried about X, Y, and Z. Like, that's I think the problem for me, TJ. We all know it can be fixed. And this is where, again, I lay the blame on college athletics that we get to this point. If they really wanted to fix this, they could do it. But everybody has different stakes in it. And you'll have leagues not like the new legislation because it might hurt the, like, you've got too many special interests at play. And I'm not saying that's the wrong way to approach it by those people. It's just the reality. Like, it could be fixed. They could get together and be like, here are going to be the rules. Boom. Legislation done. We'll just sign this and now we can but everybody's got to make sure that their financial interests are protected at the highest end. So you get all of this back and forth, and that's going to keep happening. I just wonder if something like this is finally the alarm bell that says, hey, everybody, you're like, now every call, every joke, every meme, he's got a DraftKings account. And I don't even think Sorsby, by the way, had his own. I think he was using a family member's, I read. But either way.
The other part of the story, by the way, you have to be 21 to bet. He was underage betting too.
Right. He was not even using his own. And that's why I'm sure that DraftKings flagged this and they were investigating him to begin with. Like, what woe is me moment is there for Brendan Sorsby as it pertains to the rules being broken? There is a sympathy for a young person who very clearly got addicted to gambling that had no business doing it in the first place. Sure, I agree with that. I hope that he's able to correct that part of his life. But that doesn't mean he gets to just go play quarterback at Texas Tech anymore. Part of learning your lesson is having actual consequences. There will be no consequences if Sorsby's under center in week 3. None. Zero. What are the consequences of betting underage, betting illegally, compromising everything, lighting money on fight? Like, what are the consequences of that? And if you don't think other athletes won't see this and be like, yeah, it's fine, we'll just challenge it in court, you're crazy if you think that's going to happen.
This was one of my favorite headlines.
They cannot allow it. They can't. They have to get together and put this to bed.
So whenever inside baseball, whenever we do our stupid headlines you miss segment, the way I do that, I go on Twitter, I see all these, and I keep them in my bookmarks. I maybe have 25 today, just because yesterday was such a big deal with all this stuff. This is a great one. David Ubben, the athletic writer, put out a story saying multiple head coaches told me today they are addressing the Brendan Sorsby ruling with their team immediately. They don't want their players confused and believing the ruling now means that they can bet on games involving their team now. Quoted by PowerMizzou.com, and they say, but, and I'm being completely serious when I ask this, why can't they? Because there is a precedent in court now. That's the biggest problem with all this stuff, is that what if, I'm not going to say a name or make any defamation cases. What if XYZ quarterback for XYZ University goes out and he bets $100,000 on the first game of the season now? And he's like, what are they going to do? They're going to kick me out? I'm going to sue them. I'm going to play. Because look at in simple law that's way over our heads, you learn this in your civics class in high school about the word precedent and say, that happened in that case. I want that applied to me. And I don't know why you can't. I mean, it's so much. It's so many layers to this. Why was he granted an injunction? Isn't the injunction that you have a reasonable case to win the case whenever said case happens is usually why those are granted, I believe, if I'm understanding the law correctly there. So what's the basis that they're going to go off of? The fact that it's so easy to gamble and it's so easy to get addicted to it? Is that because that's what their case was a while ago? Is that to change anything?
I don't think it. No, it doesn't. They can appeal. They already will, but the appeal's not going to happen until after the season. Yep. It's irrelevant to him. So legally speaking, I don't think there's anything else legally that will impact what happens here. It either comes from Texas Tech. Well, I think it only comes from Texas Tech. Are they going to have to eat the money? There's so much more to this. We'll continue the discussion on the other side. Like it's fascinating. Is this the thing that saves college sports? Honestly, is that a possibility? We'll dig into it all here on Sports Daily.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
The canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message, so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
310-1 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you
and inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospitalized from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Back to the sports talk.
All right, let's do this thing. Go!
Sports Daily is on KFH.
Thanks to Crestview Country Club for being a great supporter of the program. Lots of fun stuff happening right now out at the club. They had the first big swim meet over the weekend. Tons and tons of kids and families out there having a blast. Of course, the golf is great this time of the year. Events. There's a Scotch and cigar night this week I'm trying to get to, TJ. Scotch is something that I'm trying to be better at it. I'm trying to learn. So they'll bring in a vendor. They'll have like lessons on what this is. They'll get into it. Cigars, same thing. Not a huge cigar guy, but these are things, we're refining our palates there. But they have all kinds of events like that. There's a whiskey one way more up my alley. There's tequila one. There's all these cool events. There's DJ nights and music and all this stuff. So give Crestview a call. Tell them we sent you here from Sports Daily. We appreciate their support. Take a tour. Scotch guy, TJ?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Too young probably to be a Scotch guy.
It just all tastes the same to me. I'm sorry.
I am learning it does not all taste the same because I thought the same thing until about the last couple years. Got a buddy who's trying to enlighten me on it.
I don't pay enough for my Scotch to make it taste any different.
Well, it's not even that. I've learned. It's how peated is it? Is it peated? Is it in smoke? Because if it's not, then I like it kind of. But as it gets more and more, which is what real Scotch people love, then I'm like, yeah, I'd rather have whiskey. But you went to Scotland. You didn't partake.
I had some Scottish whiskey a couple times, but I was never let me get that on the rocks. I just said I'll take a Guinness.
I am an on the rocks drinker in general with whiskey and stuff, but it's fun. We're learning. That's what we go to these events for.
If I'm taking whiskey, I'm mixing it with Diet Coke, Jacob.
Oh man, no.
Everybody close your ears.
No. No need for any of that business. Just get a little water. That's what I do. Just put a little water with it. We'll get you there. All right. So we're on this Brendan Sorsby story. We're going to spend a lot of time on this because it is it's as big or bigger than any of the things that we've seen happen with this.
So let's go to the blowback by the rest of the college football world. I think that's the next biggest part of the story.
Yes.
So
go ahead.
We see the ruling come out, and it's like almost immediately, like we start seeing headlines coming out of the other schools reacting to it. And like I was saying, like nobody really acted. Like there was some coaches that stood up and stood their ground about like Bediako, like or who was it? Florida, Todd Golden talking about like throwing shots at Alabama for letting Bediako play and things like that. But there really wasn't like a universal like, this is awful. This should not be happening in the sport, because there was always a couple that were like, well, I guess that's fine. So sure. This one, I mean, immediately within the hour, we're seeing athletic directors saying, we're not going to play them anymore. And then that gets to, you know what? We're not going to play them either in any sport, football, basketball, baseball, women's, anything like that. We're not going to play them. Then we see headlines that the entire Big Ten is going to have a meeting about canceling every future game that they have with them. I believe it was Nebraska or Georgia. I can't remember. The athletic director sent a text to all of their coaches and said, we are not going to play them. If you have them on your schedule in the coming years, go talk to compliance. We're taking them off of the schedule. We won't play them. It's not going to happen. So we see all that. Then we start seeing, my favorite headline of all time from Ross Dellinger puts out a story about athletic director, reaction. And there's some anonymity from a lot of the athletic directors and giving their thoughts, which you kind of expect. Then you see one athletic director named with the university saying it's effing BS. Gene Taylor, of all people, the most calm guy.
We know Gene Taylor feels about gambling.
And so that was my first thought. I've seen one athletic director who was outraged by the fact that we let them bet at all on the NFL or anything, and it was Gene Taylor. And he has to be just like,
there's a big "see, I told you so" moment.
100%. Exactly. Yes. So I don't blame him for going nuts about it. And also, it's a team in their conference who is going to be a competitor at the top of the league. And it's like, well, they can't do that. That's not part of the rules. They're breaking the rules. And he's the kind of guy too that we literally just got a headline a couple of weeks ago that K-State fans were kind of outraged about, of him saying we won't cheat. We aren't going to spend more than $20 million of rev share money because we're not going to money launder like a lot of the schools around the country are. It's not going to happen. We aren't
because they don't have it. But there is a moment for him, and he has always been a leader in college athletics. So it's good to see him continue to do that, right? He's been on all the committees and he does all that stuff. The Big 12, it has to start with the Big 12. The Big 12 has to come out and be like, yo, dude, can't. We're not like, this isn't going to work for us. Like, it's not going to work. And I don't know what they can do, and they're going to meet, and that's probably what they have to figure out. I think if everybody had their way, they would just like blackball Texas Tech next year. That's how mad people are about this, right? I saw somebody put out something like, this feels like 8.7 billion people versus one. There is nobody outside of the Lubbock orbit, and even probably plenty within it, that want anything to do with this. It doesn't usually get this universal. And that's where Cody Campbell was like being a smart aleck and throwing shade at Georgia. He had an AI bot, hey, how many Georgia players have been arrested this year? And it's like 8. It's alarming. But again, you got to have some depth of knowledge on how this game is played, and how this game is played wrongly, not rightly or wrongly forever, is that we turn a blind eye to just about anything when it comes to college sports. Always have. Not this one. They don't, you don't turn a blind eye to this one, because this one challenged the integrity of your game, which is what you can't have.
So where now, this is the next question I have. Well, one, there's another big question that we're not going to have the answer to. There's always been, to me at least, the questions of this thing of when this happens to players, this is an extreme example, but you can say Bediako played for 2 weeks and then they said, you can't play anymore. Get out of here. You're kicked off. You can't play. That was the main one. But then you see stuff about, I'm not sure. There's got to be an example somewhere in there of something of a player committing somewhere and then getting kicked off. That happened at K-State. What was his name? Ja'Shawn Ross, Alabama transfer, came in, then got arrested for possession of marijuana. Got kicked off the team. And did K-State have to pay him? That's where the questions have become. And nobody knows the answer to this, because NIL and rev share are different things. And if you appeared in a commercial with these guys, do you still get that money? Will Brendan Sorsby get paid his entire amount? Will Brendan Sorsby be owed his entire amount? If he doesn't get paid, can Brendan Sorsby sue Texas Tech? Where in his contract does it say anything about you have to play in the games? Where does it say about you have to do XYZ? NIL isn't a contract. NIL is saying, hey, the car dealership down the street is going to give you $2 million. Go take a picture. Like, does he get that? What happens at this point? Is he on the team? Is he going to the university?
I don't know what rule. Texas Tech, in that contract that they sign with him, can set whatever rules they want, right? Like, they could say, in theory,
my point here, like, think about it this way.
But the brainstorm would be, yeah, the NCAA says you can't bet, but you can beat that in court. If we have a clause in our contract that says you can't bet, can you beat that? I don't know the answer to that question, and I don't know that clause exists either.
It's interesting. My point that I'm making is that, I don't know a good example of somebody that did this, but you sign a player and then doing like preseason workouts in the summer, basketball player, preseason workouts in the summer, blows his knee out. You still have to pay that guy, right? Like, correct. It's different. So, but where in the thing can you say you have to play in these games? Unless you put in there, you have to play in these games, barring an injury, barring blank, blank, blank. I don't know. It's going to be so interesting to see that.
Again, this is why they need to be under contract, because you just very clearly spell that out. I think that would solve so many of the issues. You don't get your money if you transfer. You don't get the full amount of your money if you transfer. You have to complete 2 full seasons to get, like, you could write all that out. It's the same reason, TJ, that let's say you and I lived in a state where marijuana was legal, right? But we could still get fired from our job for smoking pot. Why? Because I signed a contract that says I'm not going to smoke pot. So, like, you can do all that stuff, but they've avoided, again, my blame on all of this goes to college sports forever. None of this stuff, like the model we existed under for so long was so screwed up, but we all just liked watching it. And so we were just like, yeah, but it's fine. It's okay. Yeah, 8 Georgia players have been arrested, but that's okay. Like, it's all right. They're really good. 100,000 people show up. It's a great moment of unity for the community. It's fine. Like, we've turned so many blind eyes to this that you get to this point where it's like, all right, I don't want to deal with that anymore. And that's the danger of what we're looking at here for a lot of college sports fans. And people have been teetering on this, right? You can say, well, it's the transfer portal, it's whatever. But at some point, it's like, if you don't have any rules, if none of it's enforceable, if guys can do whatever they want, if they can break this rule that makes me wonder if what I'm watching is real or not, it's eventually people are going to say, all right, I'll go watch the NFL.
Yep. So
that's where this moment feels to me like, okay, here's your opportunity. You're dancing around this way too much. You still are. There's legislation out there, and we're dancing around, and we're, I'm trying to not get myself in trouble with the FCC with the words I'm choosing here. You're not attacking the issue with your full ability to attack the issue. Well, now everybody universally hates this, and the court just ruled against you. Mm-hmm. So what can you do to fix that problem? You have to go change the law, and everybody must agree on it. And there should be now a desire, like, wake up, everybody. If you don't do something, this is what's coming. And it has been for 6 years now. So go do something to fix it.
So this is two things before we get out of this segment here. One, somebody brought up a point yesterday with all this stuff that you're kind of making here is this something that, this feels like a tipping point of, obviously for universities and coaches and players to say, like, what are we doing anymore? What are there rules at all? Why are we wasting our lives on this if there's just no rules and you can do whatever you want? Like, that's the number one slap in the face for all this stuff. As fans, I get it. Like you said earlier in the show, we watch the NFL where there's legal things that happen all the time off the field, and you watch the football and you decompartmentalize, stuff like that, whatever that word is. You let the football be the football. In this, it's a football issue, though, because of what it is. Is this enough to turn off fans from watching college football?
Absolutely, yes.
So that's where it gets really interesting now, is because, like we talk about, college football is only as interesting as, what's the thing? All politics is local politics. All college football fandom is local college football fandom. Why do I care about the college football playoff if K-State doesn't have a swinging chance because we're letting guys bet on games and do this stuff and things that my school's not allowed to do because we're going to follow the rules, but they can do whatever they want? That's enough to turn off a bunch of people.
It is. Of course it is. And again, that's why this one, we should do that with everything. We should do that with, this guy is, like, the things he's done, he's a piece of crap. Why are we letting him play? But we've done it anyway. This is different than that.
There's been so many times in the NFL where you're like, that's it. I'm boycotting this. I'm not watching. If they're going to let that guy play, right. This is one where it's like, I don't feel like this is the same sport anymore.
Well, it's just, again, what is the danger of him betting? The danger of him betting is now when you watch his games, you don't.
When we come back, I've got one to tell you about that exact point when we come back.
All right, we'll come back. We got headlines I missed, NBA Finals, Royals back in action today, and the Chiefs bring back a familiar face. It's all coming in another hour of Sports Daily.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features. All upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
The canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
831001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on the Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Is this the callback for that porno film? Look, I was a little nervous that day, but I'm all man, I can assure you.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH, this is Sports Daily.
I like where this is going. Giggity, giggity, giggity.
All right. Welcome back in for another hour of Sports Daily. expectedly, Brendan Sorsby leading the way here as it's going to for the next little while. This is fascinating and for some enraging. I get it. Jake Ballbrock, TJ Cleveland here. We'll work through it the best we can. There will be a lot of breaking components of this throughout today, probably. So we'll continue to track it here. We've got it and other things to get to this hour, though. We got to get to a little bit of Game 3 of the NBA Finals last night. The Royals, no news on any of the injuries. There are 3 that we're following. We sent a message to Jalen Thompson to try and get an update. We'll let you know what he had to say on that. And then the Chiefs bring back somebody fans are familiar with. It's all What's on Tap, brought to you by the Wichita Brewing Company. Now featuring Go Hazy Folks IPA, a beer that's as soft and dreamy as a day game with a hint of mischief, just like our national pastime. This one will ease you through the innings of life until the big moment when it's once again time to go hazy, folks. WBC, pizza and beer made here. You can listen to us on KFH. You can watch us on 12 News Connected and on Facebook, YouTube, and X. Comment there. You can call in at 869-1240. As we continue to make our way through, is this the tipping point, TJ? Before we get into these headlines, is this the tipping point that fixes college athletics?
All right, I bookmarked this one. This is another good point. Oh my gosh, I keep losing my voice. Another good tipping point on the situation, or another good point made on the situation. Excuse me, I can't talk anymore. Got the yips. Somebody brings up, this happens. They say, what a disgrace to the sport. This guy is, I don't even know. It kind of seems, I don't even know if he's a real person or not, but it looks like he's a lawyer. He might be AI. I don't know. He said, gambling is, and to be fair, this is basically what the grounds are that Sorsby is going to stand on whenever he has his appeal. Gambling is expressly or de facto legal in the U.S. now. He didn't bet against his team, and it doesn't harm the integrity of the game. Which you and I listen to that, and that's just not true. There's 2 different things here. Because I'll play a little bit of devil's advocate, even though this is not what I think, so don't get this twisted. Remember Terry Rozier? We talked about that like 4 months ago. Terry Rozier, through games, he hit his unders all the time. He was playing terrible on purpose and got caught in it and got arrested, if I believe. I can't remember exactly what happened with that situation, but got in trouble with the NBA at the baseline of that. Doesn't play in the NBA anymore, I believe, if I'm not mistaken about that. Was throwing games, playing into his unders, things of that nature. This one, to this guy's point, is like I said, this is the first time you ever hear about Pete Rose. You say, well, was he betting on his team to win? Because that's different than betting on your team to lose. Because it's harder to bet on your team to win and make money than it is to bet on your team and lose and throw games and make money. Doing it that way. But Michael Borky here, this is looks like a sports talk radio guy or podcast guy. He said, listen to this scenario. The quarterback places a big bet on his team to cover 9.5. They have the ball, 3 minutes left in the game. They're up by 4. All they have to do is run the ball, get a first down, and the game is over. But he is betting on his team to cover the number, so it takes him a risk. He takes a risk, throws it, interception, they lose, so on. So you get the point. There will be alternative motives at play if you let this happen and get this to a point, which is why this is so crucial and why it's so important in the next week or so that you have to figure out a way to say that you can't do this, because even if it's just betting on your team to win the game, you're still you can't do that, because then you get to the point where it's well, I only bet the money line. Well, I only did I only picked the cover. I only said we were going to win by 3. And then that's an alternative motive from the whole goal. That's the whole point why this can't happen. It's yeah, but I took my passing yards over. I'm trying to play good. What's the big deal? It's yeah, but you didn't need to pass it there. The only reason you pass that is because of your alternative motives. Correct. And that's why it's such a big deal. It's why they have to get this in check. With it just can't.
That's why it's a no tolerance, universal cardinal rule of sports at any point. The integrity of the game changes. Does it mean the integrity of outcomes change? Indirectly, yeah. I mean, even if it's not directly, indirectly, it almost certainly will if you're playing the game a different way based on the way that you bet the game. 100% yes. And so it's a good point. It's a great point. Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's winning, losing. It doesn't matter. It's you're going in with clouded eyes. You're not doing everything the way you would normally be doing it. And so it's an absolute hardline no, period, full stop. And everybody thinks it is, including everybody at Texas Tech right now that's willing to say, well, because they just want to win.
So other part of this is, I forgot what I was going to say at this point. There's so many different.
I enjoy betting. I'm not a like.
So back to their argument here is, they're going in with the grounds on basically, if I'm not mistaken, what we've learned in the past is that they're going to go in with the grounds of saying that, like, what do you want us to do? What's everywhere? Like, we walk into the stadium and we see DraftKings ads. We turn on TV and we see, like, you can get Cincinnati at plus 250 on the money line. Every time you turn on SportsCenter, there's segments about that kind of thing. That every time you get on your phone, on Twitter, people are talking about, and, like, you know what I mean? Like, the Chiefs are posting betting apps, like betting ads. Like that's
TJ,
the point.
There's a reason you don't see TV commercials for cigarettes. I get it. I don't have a good answer for you on that. I don't. It has enhanced sports for most people. It has enhanced revenue streams for almost everybody, but there is risk there. I get it. If a part of what they do next is to say in college athletics, there are no more betting ads, okay, they're going to take a kick in the pants financially to say that. But again, TV networks took a kick in the pants when the FCC said you can't show people smoking cigarettes in a commercial anymore because it's influencing kids to smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, if that's the rule we come to, great. But again, it's going to take legal things to get to that point. Yep. Let's hit some headlines. We'll get more into this in the next segment. We got plenty of time to cram it all in. This is fascinating, but before we do that, some headlines I probably missed.
All right, Sports Daily fans, let's take you to the sports headlines Jacob probably didn't see.
All right, Jacob, did you see Brendan Sorsby's eligible for the 2026 season?
I did. I feel locked in today. I feel locked in on these headlines.
That one. He didn't miss the headline of the day. I don't have a ton outside of Sorsby, which is good because we've talked about this a lot. One more out the door Sorsby for the day before we probably get into it again in the next hour. Side headline. This is from Karen McGee on Twitter, which is a pretty funny account. I see them all the time. They posted the thing about how all these schools are saying you can't play Texas Tech. Somebody said Steve Sarkisian, after last week's headlines, now realizing that he would be the bad guy if he scheduled Texas Tech, is a wild turn.
That's funny. That's really funny. Oh man, I'm sad now that he's going to get his out on that.
Yeah.
Look, Texas Tech has to be the one to be the bad guy here, and if it's the financial hit that they've got to take.
Did you see the one quote that one coach said? I want him to play. I said, we don't want to play Joker without his arm. We want to play the whole bad guy himself. Let's play the villains. It's like, okay.
It's not the same thing. It's not. It's not the same thing. Because I would say, like, that's listen, Tech will rally and they'll embrace it. The fans will, like, it's like
they already are. It's crazy.
Like, the vibe of it fits, but you can't. Not this time. Not this time. Not in this situation. Not this time. You just can't.
Let's go next to some golf. Yesterday was golf's longest day, Jacob. The U.S. Open qualifiers began yesterday for next week's U.S. Open. So all across the country, a lot of qualifiers going down. One of the headlines, you'll learn about this U.S. Open. They're going to talk about this guy a lot. Miles Russell is a 17-year-old, I believe. There was a couple 17-year-olds that qualified, if I'm not mistaken. Miles Russell qualified. He's a pretty high-profile 17-year-old. A lot of people talking about he's like one of the best high school golfers in the entire country. He had Charlie Woods on the bag caddying for him. I don't know if you saw that or not. He won. He's going to play in the U.S. Open. He's in. So now the question becomes, is Charlie Woods going to caddy in the U.S. Open?
So imagine that scenario. Imagine you're one of the best high school golfers. Are you taking the advice that Charlie Woods gives you? Like, if you're Scotty Scheffler and Tiger Woods is on the bag, and Tiger disagrees with your club selection, what do you do?
I don't know. I mean, I'd say
it's Tiger Woods.
At the end of the day, I feel like you just do whatever you think is best. You're the one that's swinging the club. The caddy can tell you to hit a low draw into there. It's like, I can't do that. I'm not
surprise you. I've never had this issue that I've needed to argue with a caddy before. But I don't know. I always wonder how that works out.
If I am in this situation though, and you know, Charlie Woods is with me, and he says, "Hey, it's going to break left to right there. And it's like, yeah, I guess so. I'll try that. Sure.
But you're already the best high school golfer. You talking about if it's UTJ Cleveland?
No. If somebody of my caliber golfer, I guess, is with me.
Yeah, you're listening to every word he says.
Yeah. I mean, I think this guy's also listening to it. And if he disagrees, he's just going to do whatever he wants, but he's listening to it for sure. All right. Stupid one on the way out. NBA Finals. This is a pretty funny saga. Elmo, Sesame Street Elmo, making an appearance on Sports Daily today. June 3rd, he said, Elmo hopes both teams have fun. Basketball emoji. The New York Department of Transportation posted a picture of them naming a street Sesame Street and said, don't make us take this down, bro. No response. They replied yesterday and said, this one's for a certain fuzzy little fence sitter. They changed the street name to Rocco Street.
Well, you change it to Oscar the Grouch in New York, don't you? Guy lives in a trash can.
It's true. No, the Rocco Elmo debate. Are you in on that? You're probably not in on the Sesame Street.
No, because Grover is the OG. I'm Team Grover. I don't know which debate that is. Like, who's the main character of Sesame Street or something?
No, Elmo and Rocco just hate each other. It's a thing.
Oh, that's interesting. I'm a big Sesame Street fan, by the way. We'll be right back.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
The canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message, so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
310-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, Tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on the Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas fan headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Six 1240.
Time to get busy.
This is Sports Daily on KFH.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. It is Sports Daily here. Glad to be with you. You want to win a free cup of HTO? You can do that right now by entering a contest. Text the keyword T to the short code 20357. You can enter this once per day. Message and data rates apply. That'll get you a free iced tea. Good for East Wichita, West Wichita, or Derby. More than 25 flavors to choose from. And tomorrow, National Iced Tea Day, a huge new flavor launch I think people are going to be excited about. But you can get your hands on that as well. Win the coupon today. Cash it in tomorrow with the new flavor launch. The keyword is T. The short code is 20357. Good luck, everybody. Let's table Sorsby for just a few minutes so we can get these other 3 topics in, and then we'll go back to Sorsby. We'll start with the Game 3 of the NBA Finals, TJ. Spurs win it, 115-111. They hold off the Knicks. This series has been so back and forth. I've been surprised to hear so many people write this off as a Knicks win, and I'm like, God, guys, if you watch the first 2 games, like, we're this close here. It feels like it's always felt like a 7-game series. The Spurs hold them off. The Knicks had all the pressure in the world, it feels like, to take that thing up 3-1 or 3-0, because now you've got like a brand new series, it feels like to me anyway. But the Spurs advance. So the free throw thing has been a story today. The discrepancy. Really? Is it that much of a discrepancy? 32 free throws to 22 free throws? I don't like that was the Mike Brown's take after the game, right? There are other people buying into it or whatever. I watched that game, TJ, and that did not register as a thing for me one time. The free throw discrepancy. And it's not even that much of a discrepancy, by the way. But I just thought the Spurs, great players, made a bunch of great plays, and they won the game. I mean, there's a reason they're there. To think about if they can keep that young core together for a long time is pretty exciting, I think, for basketball. And their young guys made a whole bunch of great plays down the stretch.
Yeah, it's a big one. I think that is the one, obviously in the simplest of basketball terms, is that when the road team wins the first 2, it's like, oh, well, this is not going to get past 4. If they can win 2 on the road, they can win 2 at home. But I agree. I think watching game 2, especially, like, again, the Spurs were like inches away from being, it'd be 2, or, they'd be up 2-1.
The Spurs blew a huge lead in game 1. They're inches away from it being 3-0 Spurs.
It's true. Yeah, I agree. I think that's where we are. And then to see last night, I know that there was a, double-digit lead that came back in the first half, and then, just another tight finish the entire way. Like, I don't think it shocks anybody if it goes. I think that seeing this, which again, the first 2 would tell you this anyways, seeing the Spurs being able to get 1 and see the Knicks lose a game, which hasn't happened in over a month, like, that is enough to let people know, like, oh, this may be more likely going to 7 than 5.
Just a little blood on the lip now. Yeah, I get it. I think too, like when there was a lot there for Knick fans, all the added security, the president was there, all the things that were going into it. Like game 4, they'll be able probably to be less distracted. Fans will be. I don't know how distracted the players were by any of that. Like, just watch a basketball game. It's not that big a deal. But the intensity of the moment for the fans, I can't even imagine that. Now in game 4, it's like, okay, Knick fans, now just go be Knick fans, right? Now just be your crazy normal selves and have fun with it. These teams on the floor, though, I mean, this is classic. This has classic must-see NBA Finals all over it, where every game feels like it could go either way. I don't know what it is about this series that has me so intrigued, but it does. So intrigued. And I think, I think to me, it's that I don't know that the Knicks are going to get back here. And I feel strongly that the Spurs will at some point get back here. And so it does feel like the Knicks are facing history. It feels like what it reminds me of? Was it 2011, I think, when the Mavericks and the Heat were playing. And the Mavericks tragically blew, if you're a Mavericks fan, I'm talking about, they blew it to Miami after having like the 3-0 lead. Is that right? A few years earlier. You get back to that point. It was the dream team for Miami. They're making fun of them. Dallas goes down. Dallas comes back to win that series. I don't think anybody was watching that thinking, oh man, we're seeing the beginnings of a Mavericks dynasty. It was very much, they finally did it. That's what it feels like with the Knicks to me. Like, I don't know that we're looking at this like some Knicks dynasty. Not that they're not going to be good, because they will be. But it does feel like it all rides on this year for them. If they don't do it this year, like if you're a fan, you're like, it's never going to happen.
So this is a point that I saw.
They're really good. They're going to stay really good because all their great players are young.
I saw something about this, that the series of Knicks versus Spurs in the finals, like the Knicks are one of the biggest market teams in the entire league, probably the biggest, honestly, right? Maybe the Lakers probably, but there's not a ton of, maybe I'm wrong about this, but they've been, bad for so long. There's not a lot of people that are Knicks fans across the country outside of New York.
No, I think you're wrong. It's not that the Knicks have been bad. They just haven't been good enough.
There's a lot of Lakers fans in Wichita, Kansas. This is my point. We don't walk around the streets and see Knicks jerseys.
True. Yeah.
So that's my point, is that there's not a ton of Spurs fans. The Spurs aren't a giant market team, so I don't think that outside of Texas,
I don't think there are really any Spurs fans outside of people directly connected to it. Now, I like them because as a kid, I was in the state of Texas.
Yeah, I was going to say Texans are probably Spurs fans, and there's
nobody really to latch onto. The Rockets weren't all that good. They had their little run. The Mavericks were never good until the Dirk years. And then the Spurs were just kind of good. And so it's like, okay, well, I guess I'll just root for the Spurs.
So it feels like, to my point, there's not a ton of bandwagon Knicks fans like there was Heat fans or Laker fans or other big market Warrior fans, Cavs fans. You saw those everywhere. This feels very much like, 2021 was Suns Bucks, and the whole country basically just took a step back and watched, because it's like, well, I'm not a Suns fan. I'm not a Bucks fan. I'm just going to watch the final. This feels to that even on a grander level, because the Suns and the Bucks aren't the biggest of markets. The Suns are, but those aren't perennial, like, awesome franchise, everything like that. I come from a guy that watches a lot of Suns basketball, or watched a lot of Suns basketball, but Spurs Knicks is like, these are two of the most storied franchises in the league based on what we've seen. Recent history with the Spurs, long-time history with the Knicks. Seeing them at this stage, like, it's a big moment in either of their franchises. That's why I feel like it's so cool for the average fan to sit back and watch this game, because we're watching one of the most storied franchises ever in New York finally maybe get over the hump. And we're also watching a Spurs team that has done it, and they have all the success that they have. And they've also got a 7'5" guy that is incredible at basketball. Like, that's why it's so fun to watch this right now.
And Castle and Harper are awesome, and Fox is awesome. That Spurs team is so cool. Like, I did you see after the game, Scott Van Pelt had Dylan Harper, and Harper, like, trying to play it cool. He's like, yeah, I walked by Jay-Z, but I just had to pretend like I didn't see him. Like, he's trying to big time Jay-Z. Like, I love that. Like, I think that's so cool. We have that in common. Jay-Z almost hit me with his golf cart at the Super Bowl. Fun story. But yeah, like the Knicks are as cool and historied. All these people, like the New York scene, like everybody's a Knicks fan. So you get this moment. The president's a former Knicks fan. All these celebrities are former Knicks fans. You saw throughout the playoffs, all their great former players were getting together to watch these Knicks games. Like, it's so cool. But this Spurs team is just like, whatever, man. We'll just go in there and take a game. These kids are 20 and 21 years old, just like not worried about it. It's a cool series. I think this series is fun. I hope it goes 7 games. Again, I'm more concerned that it goes 7 games than I am with who wins the series, because I can make a pretty compelling case that I would like to see both teams win this series.
Yeah.
And all I want is 7 games. Can I get 7 games? If we get 6 and the games are all this good, is that satisfying enough? Probably, but don't starve us of game 7. Just give us game 7. That's what we need. Another headline that nobody missed, but that we need to discuss here real quick. L'Jarius Sneed is back. L'Jarius Sneed, who I think I've famously called Xavier Sneed 864 times for the Chiefs, is back, baby. Sneed's back. He had some kind of a little legal snafu that I think was ultimately dropped, but this does feel like another classic Chiefs case of, we're going to get more use out of this guy than you are.
Yeah.
And it makes a lot of sense in a young secondary to have him back there.
I agree. I think it's that, and even what we've seen in the past couple of years, he was nothing in Tennessee like he was in Kansas City. So maybe that is just saying, like, we know the recipe to get that guy to work. Like, he may not be a plug and play, be awesome anywhere across the NFL, but he was awesome when he was in Kansas City. And I mean, nothing changed from that year to the next year. He was the best cornerback in football when they traded him. I think he was the best cornerback in football.
That year he was. But yeah, he was good in their system, for sure. And they get their free agent. Right. Like, he was really good for Kansas City. Was he Trent McDuffie? No, I don't think he was. But he was really, really good for Kansas City. And they followed their path. They're really, really good players. They trade them. That's what they do. And then ultimately they end up coming back anyway. Yeah, right? That's kind of their thing. I am too. I think it's a great move. My question with it becomes, though, okay, if that was the money that was left, now it means no receiver. Headline you might have missed this morning: Christian Watson gets a Packers extension. Christian Watson, wide receiver for Green Bay. I'm going to read you Christian Watson, who has been hurt almost every season he's played. Here's his 4 years of yardage totals in the NFL: 611, 422, 620, 611. His career high in receptions is 41. He has eclipsed 40 receptions in a season, 1 out of 4 seasons. He averages 5 touchdowns a season. Okay, these are the numbers we're going with in Christian Watson. What do you think that went for on the market right now? Take a wild guess. Don't look this up if you haven't seen it.
No idea.
Okay. This is an extension of 4 years, $92 million. His AAV, $23 million a year, which only ranks 20th among wide receivers, but $23 million a season. What do you think Rashee Rice is going for in the open market? I just don't see any path to Rashee Rice being on the Chiefs next year. And was there an opportunity for the Chiefs to soften that blow with some of these free agent wide receivers? Maybe. So I'm just wondering, as we continue to see the wide receiver market go out of control, if the Chiefs shouldn't have done it. Because I'll tell you this, L'Jarius Sneed, better than 50% chance, has a higher impact than any receiver they brought in through free agency next year on the team next year being good. So I think you justify that signing all day long. Makes
from what
total
we
sense.
have talked about, if the Chiefs run the football, the biggest question was the secondary. It was always going to be the defense because they're just so young. On the offense, it's not so much questions, but it's more so, is what they have going to be good enough is the biggest question there on the offensive side. If they don't go get another receiver, is that going to be good enough? On the defensive side, I mean, it's questions of not only is it going to be good enough,
talent deficiencies on defense.
Yeah, who will be out there is the bigger question for defense.
I don't think there's going to be a talent deficiency on offense, right?
They
I
just
think
have to
if
figure out a
you
way to make it
go
work.
and look at the group of pass catchers with the understanding that the Chiefs are telling you they're going to run the ball, Rice, Worthy, Kelsey, the two young guys they drafted, like you're fine with that. And Tyquan Thornton, like that's fine. Like I'm totally fine with that room because I assume Rice is his knee's okay and that he'll play this year and he's going to be really good. It's really bigger picture. Like what are they going to do there? Because now next year, your wide receiver room is Worthy, Jalen Royals, a rookie you drafted this year. You can't go get a free agent wide receiver. You just keep Rashee Rice. So I think it's next year where you look at it and you're like, ooh, what are they going to do at receiver? They're not going to have Rice or Kelsey probably. That's where I looked at it with some of these guys out there now to like soften that blow. Any of you guys want to take a 2-year deal with escalators in the second year when we're going to have money on the books? That's what I wonder about. But for this year, Snead all day long. Snead that's as good and savvy a move as they could make. Because if they can get that defense to be good right out of the gates, I think the Chiefs have a chance to win the division. If you tell me the defense is as good as it's been in the last few years, I would tell you that I think they have a decent chance to win the division.
I think at the simplest of levels, because we've seen the Chiefs do this all the time, at the simplest of levels, we won the Super Bowl with these guys. Let's see if we can do it again. And they've had success doing that. They've had success bringing guys back that have gone elsewhere and have come back and filled good roles for the Chiefs. So will he be what he was when they traded him? Probably not, based on what we've seen. No. But he's a name that knows a system that hasn't changed.
Will he be a depth piece for Spags?
Spags loved him.
100%. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Like even if he's just in the room, we saw with Kareem Hunt, like they'll find a role for him. Kareem Hunt didn't even have very much gas left in the tank, and they turned him into a highly effective player. All right, last one, and then we'll go back to Sorsby in the next segment. We don't get any updates on the Royals. I asked Jalen Thompson, our Royals insider, KC Stars, if we thought we'd get anything yesterday. He said no, probably today. But then he said, and we kind of, shame on us a little bit. He was like, the one you really need to watch is Salvi with his thumb. That could be the one that lingers. That apparently is the one behind the scenes, I think that's a little more concerning right now, which is good, I suppose, in the case of Bobby Witt Jr. and Jack Caglione, that both of them are, at least for now, expected to be okay. But it's that thumb because Salvi didn't play Sunday either. I just assumed it was kind of a day off. I didn't guess I realized he had a swollen thumb. So we'll see on that. But we're watching 3 now, arguably the 3 best hitters in the lineup now. Yep. All kind of on injury watch today. We'll get it before the game starts tonight. But that is something to be at least moderately concerned about this week for the Royals.
It is.
I'm checking our first pitch time. Sorry. Our first pitch is at 6:40 as normal. You'll hear the game here on KFH. We'll get that update probably a little after lunchtime.
Yeah, once they get to the stadium, we'll hear that.
So we'll keep an eye on that for you as well. But the Royals begin that series against the Rangers tonight. Nate Eovaldi's on the mound for the Rangers, who can always shut you down. But Stephen Kolek, who's become the real deal for KC. Stephen Kolek still has a whip under 1, TJ. He's been awesome.
That's crazy.
He's been awesome. And like he is a guy last year when all those trades were made and they were bringing guys in, like he was getting some run there as a starter and looking good before he came to the Royals. And I remember thinking like him as a throw in, I'm like, man, that feels like more than a depth piece there. Like that could be a long-term thing. So his success has been fun to watch, and we'll see if he can keep it going tonight. All right. When we come back, we'll go back to the big story of the day, of the week, of maybe the offseason. Brendan Sorsby next on Sports Daily.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
The canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message, so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
31001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas fan headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
KFH.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. It is Sports Daily. Jacob Albrock, TJ Cleveland here with you. Max Power producing as we are trying to understand and dissect, honestly, one of the trickier and far-reaching stories I can remember in a while with Brendan Sorsby. It's a bigger deal probably than anything we've dealt with in the changing landscape, I think, topic of college sports, because it is a little more far-reaching. It does feel like it has the opportunity to be the last straw, I think, for people. You know, we've had movement and momentum to make changes. You're seeing classic, same old college athletics with this bill that's being introduced, and it's that everybody gets real greedy, which is why we have all these issues in college athletics, in my opinion, in the first place. There are plenty of opportunities to unify and do something about it, and college sports just won't do it because everybody wants to get and squeeze every dime and penny and nickel out of every opportunity they can get. Well, these are the things that happen when you can't figure it out. And years and years and years and years and years of stupidity, of greed, of all the things that have led us to this point, have us to this point, where now a kid who bet on his own team admitted it, right? And was being investigated, can't even be suspended from playing games. That's where we are now. Is that rock bottom? I think there's a pretty good chance it is. All the other stuff that's been happening, like, is this college sports rock bottom moment? I would say if I'm being predictive, I'll say yes. I think we look back to this and we say it was that moment where people finally got it together and fixed the problem.
If they're not there right now, I think that it's not so much that it's right now is the rock bottom point. It's that in a year or whatever, we look back. If it doesn't change, if this is, you know, this feels so silly. It feels like those, Back to the Future movies or movies where you're time travelers. And if you change one thing, what will things look like in 5 years? That feels like where we're at right now. Is if you let this happen, what does the sport look like in 5 years? Now that guy can be able to play, does that set a precedent for other things? Or does this mean that where, the NCAA steps up, the colleges step up, whatever you need to do, and says that's not going to happen, then what does it look like in 5 years? Is it back to normal, quote unquote normal in 5 years? The new normal in 5 years? Is there, structure that can make it look like a sport that we once all recognized? I'm not sure. But it's crazy. And it's crazy that Texas Tech people I've seen so much stuff about, like, why is everybody mad at Texas Tech? Why aren't they mad at Cincinnati and Indiana?
Yeah, because they didn't get caught then.
They probably didn't know.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. And if they did, they should be mad at them. But I wouldn't imagine that they knew until he started to be investigated, because none of it was so. I mean, none of it was so egregious that you probably even knew anything was happening. Right. Like, it would be easy to miss that. I think, like, Tech's response, Tech got screwed on this. Like, to me, if I'm Tech and he came in and he knew he broke the rules and did this, like, if I'm Tech, I think the proper response is time to learn a life lesson. We ain't paying you squat. And maybe you owe us money because we couldn't go get somebody else. How much harm did you do to us? Like, that's the tough lesson to learn for Brendan Sorsby. I think the right thing to do would have been to say, we're standing behind him. We want to support him in this rehab. We're also not going to pay him his NIL deal. Like, we'll help him. We'll pay for his rehab. We'll help these things. But no, we're not doing that and going to find another answer. The correct answer can't be what it always is in college sports, winning over everything. Let's get you a lawyer and see if we can find a way to sneak you in there and get you to play. That's what you can't do. And that's what college sports has done forever. Forever. That's what college sports has done. turning blind eyes to misbehavior at the sake of winning at all cost because the financial implications of winning are so high are where we are, are why we are where we are today. There's no doubt about it. Again, Cody Campbell's just being a turd out there on social media throwing shade, but he's not wrong when he says, how many Georgia players have been arrested over the last few years? We're okay with them playing? Like, what are we doing here? Why are we okay with them playing and not this kid? And that's not the correct answer, and it's not apples to apples because betting is the Pandora's box you can never open. But it's not totally incorrect. Like, we have issues all over the place. So, again, to I think a lot of bigger picture thinking people's point, and this is where I think you and I go with this, if this is rock bottom and this is where we start to find solutions, how do you make sure this kind of stuff doesn't happen again? How do you make sure players that are arrested aren't allowed to play anymore? How do you make sure that, players aren't cheating or betting, or do you collectively bargain and you say, here are the rules. If you are arrested, you cannot play. Or if you are convicted, maybe I should say, just like it is in every other sport. Let's stop pretending like this is what it's not, and let's get some rules in place that are mutually agreed to, and we can be done with all of this.
At the end of the day, I think the one thing that can be said about every situation that you're talking about there is that in a sport where coaches are millionaires who get fired like no other sport ever, they're going to do anything that they can to try to get in a competitive edge, which is we've seen in multiple things. It happens in the NFL, like we said earlier in the show, but people that are sitting there talking about, the Bediako thing about how Nate Oates is trying to ruin basketball by letting Charles Bediako play, or that McGuire is trying to ruin college football by allowing him to play. What if he doesn't play, and what if they go 3-9? Then McGuire lost the job. It's like, we can't trust coaches to do what's right for the integrity of the game. There has to be a governing body that can make rules that are for the best of the game, that rules that actually mean something. And this may be what it takes to get there. This may be the thing that sends if we had to take a stab, I think that's a fun exercise here, Jacob. If we took a stab at where things go from here, what's the next step in ensuring that college sports aren't broken? Is this mean that the CSC, they put out that bill that they had last week that we talked about so much and say, okay, we got to sit down in a room, we're locking ourselves in until we can agree?
It's a little different than the CSC. I'm not sure the CSC fixes this issue because, again, at least some legal people are saying the court ruling here is not antitrust. So I want to say grain of salt here. I think Ted Cruz said yesterday those kinds of things would be addressed in here, but he could have been talking about other things. I don't know. That's tough. But what I will say is you can, because they did in that bill, they didn't leave off the table collective bargaining. Like, it's still out there. So maybe that needs to be added in. There is a fear of collective bargaining. I get it. But let's be real and honest with this situation here. We all feel like the NFL doesn't do a very good job of, the players union doesn't do a very good job of collectively bargaining in the NFL. How do they not have guaranteed contracts, right? Major League Baseball, I think the players crush it in collective bargaining for the most part, right? They do a really good job. We'll see what happens with this next one. What do you think the chances are, TJ, that these institutions are just going to get wholly screwed in collective bargaining when you're talking about 250 schools full of, thousands and thousands of 18 and 19-year-olds, all with different opinions, that they're going to be able to unify and really just put the NCAA and colleges to the screws? They're not. I don't think that's going to happen. I think you can come up with some real base level stuff that is so basic, why not, that everyone would agree. Like 5 years of eligibility, 1 free transfer, you could talk the players into that. If you talk the players into, you get insurance, you get benefits, you get this, you get whatever. Like, you can get to those simple things pretty easily. And then you say, you can't bet. If you get arrested, we get to punish you for it. Like, punishment is ours wholly. We will decide and enforce that. Period. Full stop. And they would do it. They absolutely would. And so, like, some of it gets so basic. If the end game and the goal isn't to say, man, I'm an SEC institution, how do I make sure I'm at a competitive advantage in whatever we agree to and I have more money to play with? And like, if you can let go of all that for just a second, we could solve a lot of this.
It's
but
crazy.
That's the question. Will they get out of their own way and do it? Throughout the entire history of college sports, the answer to that question is absolutely not. They won't. So what's the next step? Probably the Big 12 gets together today. And if Texas Tech won't punish itself, the Big 12 will try to figure out a way to punish Texas Tech. Yeah. I don't know what that is. I don't know what rules the Big 12 has in place. I don't know what kind of enforcement rules Big 12 have. If it takes not the league itself, but all the schools that are in the league saying, we ain't going to play them. Sorry, we're not going to play them. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I have no, like, to sit here and pretend like we have the ins and outs of the conference bylaws like that, like what's allowed to do. Come on now. Nobody has that. They're going to have to get together and try to figure out what options they have. And I would imagine that's happened. It's 8:52. I imagine that started up a couple hours ago this morning.
It's so crazy. I saw something yesterday. I can't find it. I'm trying to quote it exactly, but I can't tell you. But off the top of my head, one of the big writers put out a story, and they spoke with a coach, I believe that was anonymous in the story, that said, if this is what we're doing now, then just let me know. Because if we're in a world of making revenue, we're just going to pick numbers to cover that we like, and we're going to bet on it. It's like, and that's probably hyperbole. It almost certainly is hyperbole. But that's the other reason why. Like, in a world where money is the king of college football, like, if we're doing that, like, that's where it gets really, really slippery at that point. Because why can't I tell my quarterback, like, hey, if you come here, we'll make sure that you hit that number every time. Wink, wink. Like, come here, bet your over passing yards, and we will throw the ball until you get to that number because you deserve to make the money, and you can make it here. We'll give you money to bet.
Again.
And how it doesn't even sound that crazy to say out loud.
You're not, yeah, the conversations and the things that you and I know anecdotally that have happened historically throughout the history of college sports on a recruiting trail, that doesn't even sound crazy. That wouldn't even be hearing that wouldn't even crack the top 10 of crazy things I've heard on the recruiting trail. Not even the top 10 to hear, like, yeah, they would totally do that. To win the recruit, they would absolutely do that. Come on. Of course they would. It's, again, this is a really unfortunate situation. And here we have another opportunity for the powers that be in college athletics to go do the right thing. Can they all put their own self-interests to the side for a second to go do the thing for the collective good? History says no, because they've never been able to do that. 100% of the consumers agree that it's broken now, if they didn't before. 100%. 100% of the people involved in it think it's broken. Literally everybody out there thinks we need a solution for this stuff. Will they actually do it? Ball's in their court. I got no sympathy for it because I know who made this mess. Like, there's no sad Jacob here today about where we are in college athletics, because this is the bed they made by doing things and doing the kind of business they've done forever. You can't, I hate you. Like, you can't oppress is the wrong word, but you know what I mean? Like, you can't do all the things they've done to make it so one-sided for years and then be stunned when it swings back the other way like this. So go fix it. Go do something about it. Is this the linchpin? I say it is. You say?
I think it is.
Okay.
It's gonna take a while, but this is gonna be the one that they're finally gonna look back and.
We're an optimistic show. That may be as optimistic a take as we've ever had, but we'll see. We'll have more on this throughout the days. Stick around. We got more Sports Daily.